A lot of cruisers think there's a cruise port in Orlando, but there's not. Orlando's landlocked. The cruise port near Orlando, Florida is officially named Port Canaveral. And while it's not far from Orlando, it's not in Orlando, it's located in Cape Canaveral. Now this port and Port Miami, they jockey back and forth for the title of the world's busiest cruise port. So it is a popular cruise departure port. A lot of cruisers like to fly in early when they're porting out of Canaveral because of the port's proximity to Orlando, which again is only about 45 minutes away. And with all of the attractions and theme parks in Orlando, that's a popular choice. But some cruisers like to stay closer to port because of access to things like the Kennedy Space Center and Cocoa Beach. So if you're looking for theme park in that scene, I recommend you look for hotels in Orlando proper. But if you're seeking a beach day experience at Cocoa Beach, or you want to stay near the port, here are my recommendations. First, if you're a sand and sun type of person and you want to tack on an extra beach day before your cruise, I recommend a beachfront hotel in nearby Cocoa Beach. Now it's great because Cocoa is just about 15 minutes from Port Canaveral, so you're still not far from port. Here are my top 3 beachfront hotel recommendations in Cocoa Beach. First is Hampton Inn, Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral. The Hampton Inn is a beachside property, and what that means is that it's a short walk to Cocoa Beach, but it's really not far. This location is nicely situated because it's in close proximity to a bunch of restaurants and shops like the popular Radisson surf shop. There are vendors at the beach once you get there that rent umbrellas, chairs, and boogie boards to travelers, and guests are allowed to use towels from the hotel's pool area to take with them and use at the beach, returning them later, of course. This property offers free Wi-Fi and complimentary breakfast, and they do offer shuttle service to and from Port Canaveral, but that comes at a cost of $10 per person one way or $16 per person round trip. If you want to use the shuttle service, you need to schedule that in advance when you check in. An Uber, however, might be a more affordable, convenient option, especially because the hotel is so close to port, and especially if you're 2 to 4 people traveling together. Next is Best Western Cocoa Beach. This is located on Atlantic Avenue, and actually all 3 of these recommendations are on North Atlantic Avenue, which runs the span of Cocoa Beach, so they're all kind of close to each other. The Best Western in particular, however, is well regarded by cruisers because it is a great value. It's always clean and it's in close proximity, like the others, to Cocoa Beach. In this case, it's just a short 4-minute walk. Now, in this case, beach towels are not provided, which I don't like, but guests get free Wi-Fi and hot breakfast, and they offer a shuttle service to port. That comes at a cost of $10 per person each way, with shuttles running at 10:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and 12:30 p.m. If you want to take the shuttle, you simply schedule that when you check in. Again, Uber, it's going to be cheaper and way more convenient. So make sure you at least price that out as an option before you use the hotel's shuttle service. My third recommendation for a beachfront Cocoa Beach hotel is Beachside Hotel and Suites, also located on North Atlantic Avenue. Now, the standout feature of this property is its close proximity to Cocoa Beach. Yes, they're all close to Cocoa Beach, but this is just 315 feet behind the hotel. This property is really impressive because it has an awesome pool area, including a small lazy river. So if you have kids, they're probably gonna love this one. Guests also enjoy free Wi-Fi and hot breakfast. You also get complimentary use of beach chairs, umbrellas, bikes, and surfboards. But note that these are limited in supply each day and they're available on a first come, first serve basis. So if you're a late sleeper, you may not be able to take advantage of some of these amenities. Guests are also allowed to use the hotel's pool towels at the beach, returning them later. This property does offer a shuttle service at a cost of $10 per person. So if you're traveling solo, it may be the cheaper option to use the shuttle, but if you have 2 or more people sharing the cost, an Uber is probably gonna be cheaper and definitely more convenient. There are over 30 Cocoa Beach hotels, which can get overwhelming, but these are my 3 hand picks because they consistently rank among the top choices for travelers cruising out of Port Canaveral. When selecting a pre-cruise hotel, I always urge cruisers not to get sidetracked about the free shuttle service or any shuttle service. Stop it. Stop thinking about it, stop asking about it, because it doesn't matter. Almost all the hotels near the port are going to have shuttle service, but with the very, very rare exception here and there, it's almost never free and it costs more than an Uber. So look at other factors like convenience, what you're looking for. Do you want beach access? What is the cost? Those sorts of things. The best beachfront options at Cocoa Beach near Port Canaveral. Now, if you're the type of cruiser who's looking for an affordable hotel in Cape Canaveral, close to port, this next section is for you. Keep in mind that while these are not beachfront properties, this is a bustling area, especially during peak cruise season, and that can drive up prices, making affordable a relative term. Now, you are gonna find that properties here are generally significantly cheaper than out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale, but it might be a little bit more than you're usually expecting to pay at similar properties that are not at a port location. So let's get into my top 3 picks for affordable Port Canaveral hotels. First is Country Inn and Suites at Port Canaveral. Now, if you ask cruisers where their favorite Port Canaveral hotel is, they'll often pick this one. Why? Because it is one of the closest to port. It's only about half a mile, so the day of your cruise, you're right there. They also offer free Wi-Fi and hot breakfast, and they do offer a shuttle to port. Now, the shuttle here is a lot more affordable than other properties. It's only $5 per person. But because it is in such close proximity to port, still, if you have 2 or up to 4 cruisers, an Uber is probably going to be a cheaper option and definitely more convenient. Up next is Radisson Resort at Port Canaveral. This property is less than 2 miles, about a 5-minute drive from Port Canaveral, so they're all kind of close. But this property receives high marks from cruisers because of the fact that it has an amazing pool area, including a designated kiddie pool. Like a lot of the other properties, you also get free Wi-Fi, although in this case, breakfast is not included. Now, Radisson offers a shuttle to Port Canaveral at a cost of $6 per person, which you reserve at check-in, and shuttle service to and from MCO or Orlando Airport is $28 per person each way. If you want to use the airport shuttle service, you have to reserve that 48 hours in advance. However, when it comes to getting from the hotel to the cruise port, taking Uber may be a more affordable and convenient option. My third recommendation is Hampton Inn and Suites, Cape Canaveral. Now, this property is just 1 mile from port, and it is highly regarded by cruisers because of its proximity to port, but also its cleanliness and value. Like all the others, you get free Wi-Fi, you get free breakfast, in this case it's hot breakfast, and the shuttle to port is reserved at check-in if you want to use that option. It runs at 10:30 and 11:45 a.m. daily at a cost of $10 per person. Now, in this case, take an Uber. I actually priced it out, and the fare from this property to Port Canaveral on an average day with non-surge pricing is just $9. So even if you're a solo cruiser, it's cheaper to Uber than it is to take the shuttle, and you don't have to wait for those designated times. So those are my recommendations for beachfront and affordable hotels near Port Canaveral. But I want to give you one other option, and this is a nearby Titusville. And this is more of a unique experience if that's something you're looking for. And my recommendation here is Casa Coquina Del Mar in Titusville. Now, this is for folks who are looking for more of an experience rather than just a place to lay down your head or a place to be close to the beach. This hotel is a charming bed and breakfast. It's only about a 5-minute drive to the Enchanted Forest Sanctuary and the United States Astronaut Hall of Fame, and it's only 15 minutes from the cruise port and the Kennedy Space Center. So you're still close to everything, but you get more of a unique boutique experience at this property than my other recommended properties. These are all great hotels in Cape Canaveral, which are consistently highly rated by cruisers sailing from Port Canaveral. But I advise folks not to book them or any property just because of the shuttle service. As I've said before, make sure you're considering other factors like convenience, hotel ratings, location, and other amenities when you make a decision, because taking an Uber to port is often cheaper and more convenient, especially if you're traveling with a group of people 2 up to 4. And if you're looking for transportation to and from MCO Airport, it's usually cheaper and more convenient to find your own private options or third-party transfer services on your own. So there you have it. If you like this video and want more content like this, including helpful tips and strategies for your cruising adventures, check out my blog at profmelissa.com, where you can subscribe to my newsletter. Oh, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube. Happy sailing!